Well, today is early Chevy day, so the plan for today is we have to rip the whole front end off of this 36 Chevy, and I know that seems a bit barbaric, but we got to go backwards to go forwards. So what we're going to be doing is I have a couple more dents to fix on this fender, a little bit of lead work to do, and then we're going to be stripping it down to bare metal, or finish stripping it down to bare metal, and then we're going to get both these fenders in epoxy primer. Somebody on one of the videos wanted to see the braces on this, so there you go. Pretty self-explanatory. They only fit on one way. You just bolt to the outside of the fender here. That's where the headlight bracket bolts to, and then they bolt down to the radiator support right here with two bolts. And the inner fender is just held on with a stove bolt and a square nut right there, like so. Pretty straightforward. Well, I got the rest of the paint off, and not surprisingly, we've got a whole bunch of little dents. We got one right here, and a whole bunch all through here, and then a few at the bottom. So we're gonna go ahead and get those knocked out the fastest way that I know how to get them out. Not necessarily the right way, but the fastest way. And that's maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes worth of work. Not totally flawless, but certainly good enough for the truck it's going on. I think it'll be okay. There's a couple just like tiny little nicks from the sharper dents, but I'm not even gonna worry about those. For whatever reason, I missed a few dents at the front of this as well. We got a couple tiny specks here, a little crease right here, and then some spots here, and one little dent right there. So we're just gonna knock those out real quick, and then I think we'll be done, at least on the dent repair. there you go. I think we had 5 minutes total in that, and there's no way for me personally that I could have mixed up putty, applied it, and sanded it in 5 minutes. So for me, this is faster, and this is the way body shops used to do these kinds of repairs. And I'm not saying it's right, but this is just the way stuff was repaired a long time ago, for many, many years. Now there are two spots on this where I'm gonna have to cheat a little bit and use some product. First area is this body line in this area right here. If you remember right, this was all badly munched and folded up on itself, and we worked it out as far as we could, but there's kind of a point where, you know, if we keep working it, the metal is just going to get fatigued, and then we're going to have more trouble than it's worth. So we're just going to tune this up with some product, and that's just the way it is sometimes. Second spot is at this leading edge here, where it mounts to the grill bottom. It was cracked here, and this was welded back up. And rather than work the weld back out in an area that was already prone cracking area in the first place, we're going to leave the weld intact, and then again we're just going to smooth over that with a little bit of product. That way we're not compromising the integrity of it. There you go, we got this little corner filled in here. And we also got this body line sorted out. Probably doesn't even show up on camera, but from where I'm standing, it looks better than it did. It was just too mangled to leave, and I didn't want to use regular product because it's on an edge, so it needs something a little more substantial. So this will probably outlast the rest of this fender now. Yeah, no, that edge has been bugging me for a long time now, so I'm much happier with it now. I sanded the whole fender down with 80 grit on the orbital sander, and then I wiped it down with wax and grease remover. Then I wiped it down with wax and grease remover again because I'm an idiot and I touch it with my bare hands. A little pro tip there, whenever you're dealing with bare metal, always wear gloves right from start to finish, and it'll save you a bunch of cleaning time. And if you live somewhere with high humidity, then you don't have to deal with fingerprints rusting all the time. But do as I say, not as I do. Now we're gonna hit it with some 2K epoxy primer. We're just gonna use these aerosol cans, and I've used these before. Not cheap, but I don't have an air compressor, so this is what we're gonna use just to keep the metal protected for now. Well, it seems counterintuitive, but this is actually the only way to go forwards, because now I have access. I can weld up all the unnecessary holes in the frame. I can build my motor mounts. I can get the engine and transmission put in, which I don't even have right now, but eventually we will have an engine and transmission. I can also rebuild the front suspension. This is actually a 35 axle in here that I just put in to roll it around. So we'll be putting in, I think, a 53 truck axle with Bendix brakes, and that's what's going to be going in here. But we can get all that rebuilt and installed, and yeah, been putting this off for a while, but it had to happen. There's fender number 1 in primer, and I'm suddenly reminded of why those rattle cans kind of suck. They work fine for, you know, straight up and down surfaces, but as soon as you try to do something on the top, they start coughing and sputtering and making a mess. But the idea was just to seal this up so I don't have to keep sanding the surface rust off of it. So this will keep it protected for now. It is 2K or 2-part epoxy primer, so that'll keep the metal sealed up and protected. Eventually, I'll just scuff this down, give it another good coat of epoxy primer with a spray gun. Hopefully by then I'll have an air compressor, and then we'll do our high build primer over top of that. Then we can block sand that, and then we should be ready to go for paint, and then they'll be able to go back on the truck, hopefully for the last time. And this is all in the future, but at least for now we're on the right track. Now we're gonna finish sanding down and priming this fender. Same deal. As far as the underside of these is concerned, for now I'm just leaving them because I don't feel like prepping the underside. Technically I should be doing that right now, but I don't have time or ambition for that. But the underside is also going to get epoxy primered, and then we're going to Raptor line the bottom side. The Raptor liner will help protect the outside from rocks and stuff, putting a bunch of pokey dents going out because we don't really want that after we spent a bunch of time fixing these. So that's the plan for that, but not today. And there's some primer on driver's side fender. Been a long time coming to get to this stage, but it's nice to kind of cross this off the list. We didn't make a whole lot of progress on it this time, but some progress is better than no progress at all. These fenders are going to be getting stored in the house for now, and I still have to do some body work, like actual body work on the rear fenders. These fenders were in very poor condition, and the metalwork is done on them, but they're going to need some smoothing out to get them good enough for paint. Then we also have to paint the box sides and the running boards. So until we're ready to do that, these fenders, the front fenders, can go in storage. Everything's going to be getting painted the original green color that is on the cab here. Well, not the red primer, but the green. And the cab and the rest of the front sheet metal is staying unpainted. So we're just doing the fenders and the box in that green color, and then over time it'll all kind of chip up and scratch and age to match the rest of the truck, I guess. The whole flawless restoration thing is totally fine if that's what you want to do, but for me, I like stuff that's a little rough around the edges that I can actually drive. So that's why we're not fully restoring the whole truck. We're just fixing the really bad spots, and the rest of it can stay as is. Again, I like stuff that's a little rough that I can drive on gravel roads and leave in the mall parking lot and not feel bad about. Well, we need to get this 71 Chevy C10 mobile before winter. That means we have to get it running and driving under its own power. So I don't know what's all is going to be involved in that, but we will find out here shortly, I guess. As some of you probably recall, we did actually have this thing running last year by dumping gas down the carb, and I did actually just have it running again by doing the same thing, but it does not want to suck fuel no matter what I do. So I think the only solution here is to pull this carburetor off. I mean, can't imagine it would need to be clean. Like it's basically brand new, but we'll do it anyways. You know, no expense spared here at Carter's Hairstyling. So I thought, well, it just needs a fuel pump. So I put a fuel pump on and see where this is going. So I guess we're gonna try to clean this up. We've diagnosed it to a plugged needle, or something inside here is plugged because it's not getting fuel. But it will run if I dump gas through here. So I don't think anyone can really argue that this probably could stand to be taken apart and cleaned up anyways. So that's how we're spending our evening. Well, first impressions here are that this definitely needed to be cleaned out. I don't even know, like, what is that? Camera doesn't want to focus, but there's some sort of like, what is that? Yeah. Okay, well, we certainly can't hurt anything by cleaning this, I don't think. Well, I won't go as far as to call that rebuilt, but it is a lot cleaner than it was, and it's got a new accelerator pump and a new float, so hopefully it'll work a little better for us. Well, I've come to the conclusion here that I just might have way too many vehicles. Yes, indeed. What does that mean? Well, that means that I may consider selling that 1971 Chevy C10. Yes, I would, but only for a very brief, limited time, yes. I don't really want to sell it because I'm kind of a compulsive hoarder and I would like to do something with that truck someday. But again, you know what? Caught me at a weak moment. So I'm going to put the price, availability, location, and all that BS down in the description of this video below. It is a 1971 Chevy C10. It runs and it drives. It is not street legal. It needs a complete restoration. If you don't know what a complete restoration is, then this is not the project for you. Complete restoration means that it needs literally everything. It is Saskatchewan registered in my name. It has plates on it. Again, it's not road legal. It's just registered and plated so that it's registered and plated. It makes it easier. It's pickup only. I'm not shipping it. So you will need a trailer with a winch preferably, but it would technically drive itself on a trailer too. Obviously there's no brakes. There's no brakes. Yes, that's because it needs a complete restoration, would you believe? One of everything, yep. If you would like to know more about it, I'm also going to put a link in the description to the video when I pulled that truck home. And it will show all the damage and all the problem areas and tell you this, that, and the other thing. So make sure you watch that video before you send me a bunch of redundant questions. Yes, that would be helpful, because if I get a bunch of redundant questions, then I won't sell it. So don't ruin it for somebody that actually wants it. Did I mention this is a limited time offer? Because it is. Yes, that's right. I want to have that thing out of here before the snow flies, and the snow could fly any day here. Probably got a couple of 3 weeks before it starts snowing. And then after that, it's going to be snowed in, and I don't want to deal with digging it out or trying to get it running when it's minus 40. It is a BYOB and BYOG kind of affair. That means bring your own battery and bring your own gas if you want to drive it on the trailer. But again, there's no brakes, so it might be better if you winch it on, or if it starts getting cold here. That thing's pretty cold-blooded, so you know the time it takes to get it running is probably easier just to winch it on. But again, limited time offer for maybe the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then I'm going to be keeping it. I do have some plans for it that I think will be fun, but if you want to save it from the clutches of Vile Kyle and his Sawzall, then here's your opportunity. Don't miss out. If you don't see any information about the truck listed in the description of this video, that means it's either been sold, or somebody annoyed me and I decided not to sell it, or I just decided not to sell it. So that's how that's going to work. You just click on the description of this video and it'll have the information there. Or if I change my mind, then the information won't be there. Well, this was just a short one this week. We're gearing up for a big budget bodywork and paint and rust repair special. So I hope you're going to enjoy that. And as soon as that's all finished up, we're back on the chicken truck, basically for the whole winter. So as always, thanks very much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to sit and watch this stuff every week. And big shout out to all the folks sending in donations via PayPal, super thanks, or through the membership option here on YouTube. Also had some very nice things sent in the mail, and as always, I just want to say thank you to our monthly contributors over on Patreon. Again, without all their help, it wouldn't be possible for me to mess around with this old junk all the time. So I really do appreciate that, and we'll see you all next week with our big plans for doing stuff. Yeah, okay.